And can you introduce yourself for me?
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Mr. Musinguzi, and I'm a YouTuber from Uganda. I've been born and raised here in Uganda, and I'm very glad to meet King of Butunda, right from the USA and now here in Uganda.
Thank you so much.
You're right.
Alright, so I just want to ask a couple of questions, just basic things, information that I want to gather from other Africans, just to get your perspective on how do you feel about Africans abroad and Africans like right here at home. So the first question I want to ask is, how do you feel about African Americans who wish to come back to Africa to settle?
Personally, I think Africa is a very receptive continent, and in our culture we always embrace change, we always embrace the new people that come, and knowing that these people have been part of our culture and our community for a very long time, even before we were here existed. I think I would welcome that idea of someone is out there and you really want to come back to Africa. We welcome you. Here in Uganda we are very open, we are very, very good people, and the environment really embraces you easily. If you've been to Uganda, you've at least experienced how good it is to interact with people in Uganda. So it's personally, I would take it as an idea of you searching for a sense of seeking for a place you belong. And everyone in life has that desire in their heart to find a place where they want to belong. And if you find that place, most of them you find peace, and your life can be actually even healthier. So if you're out there and you want to come back here to Africa, whether you're from which continent or from the US or any other continent, would really welcome you here in Uganda. And personally, if I was out there, it would be my desire to find out where did I come from. It would be my desire to connect with the cultures, to try to understand where my ancestors or my great-grandparents came from. And I would really look out, I would take it as an initiative to explore and see that and get to learn more, because there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of history that you get to learn when you come back here and interact with the people in Africa. So it's a very big welcome for you if you're there and you want to make that decision.
Okay. How do you feel about Africans who want to leave their home country to go to like places like America or the United Arab Emirates or places like that for a better financial opportunity?
Well, the situation here in Uganda, I can't say favors everyone to do or live the life that they want to live. And unfortunately, that sometimes when people end up in those places, they may end up, if you go there and you're not really skilled up, because most of the times what is the biggest challenge is the skill, the level of skill or the level of professionalism that we have here is different from the level of what is expected when you go to those countries. So if you're an African and you're really looking forward to going to those places to live the American dream, you're going to want to go to the United Arab Emirates, I'd recommend that you really do enough research, find out what am I going to do, go through the right channels, because I believe when you go through the right channels, there's always a better experience that you get there. And it's all about opportunity. Sometimes you seek opportunity and you're here in Uganda and you feel like I can do a lot more in another country. It's all about, we're open to exploring. And the good thing is that you need to know that this is my home. Anytime that I want to come back home, this is Africa. Africa will always welcome you. So I don't restrict anyone going out there and trying to explore and live their dream, because we've had so many success stories of people who have moved out there. So I would encourage you, go out there, but make sure you use the right channels. And when you reach there, be able to have an open mind, because the cultures out there are different from the cultures you grew up in here. And if you reach there, just have an open mind, be flexible, learn quickly, and be able to keep up with the pace of how things are going. Yeah.
Would you encourage other Africans to travel throughout Africa to see the other 54 countries?
Yeah, I would love that. Personally, that is something I'm really looking forward to. Right now I'm in Uganda, and I've lived in Uganda, I've grown up in Uganda, but the moment I started this journey of exploring and sharing the information I find out, I've learned that it's a whole new learning process for me. And I've imagined if I've learned this much in these few months that I've been trying to share the Ugandan story, how much more will I be able to learn when I move to other African countries where I have to encounter other cultures and learn a few things from them and be able to also share my stories with them. I believe it's one of the greatest things one would do to acquire knowledge and be able to have a broader understanding of the continent we live in Africa.
Okay. So Africa right now is having a lot of progress in many different countries, and as far as the diversity goes and people to travel around, how do you see the progress in the next few years, like the next 10 years with other African countries? Do you think that it would other countries will follow the trend of progress, or do you think some countries will just stay secluded to themselves?
Well, I think in the next 10 years, it will be much easier for one to move from one African country to another. If you look at, for example, East Africa, if you look at us 10 years ago, we had every East African country on its own. But right now, as we're speaking, we have an East African passport, meaning I don't need to pay for a visa to move to Kenya. I don't need to get a visa to move to Tanzania or Rwanda. So, and Congo is also applied, soon joining the East African community. Sudan has joined the East African community, and I'm sure if this goes on, if this is a trend in the next 5-8 years, I'm sure it will be much easier for us to travel across African countries. Besides that, there are so many developments in terms of transport means. You can see recently Uganda acquired it's on we resumed our flights, and we can see that it's going to be very easy for Ugandans to now travel across other countries using our very own airlines. So I believe if that is the culture, Uganda will be able to have its airlines fly to more African countries, and it will even be a very big boost for Ugandans to be able to take that initiative. And I'm sure even the pricing, because before traveling by airplane was quite costly. But right now, as we speak, you can find quite a number of options and alternatives for you to be able to move from one country to another by flight at a very affordable rate.
Right now, there are a few countries that are having issues with xenophobia. What type of things do you encourage people to do in order to break away from those negative stereotypes and the bad image of xenophobia?
Well, I think we're Africans. When you read the history of Africa, you'll see that Africans have things that put them together. If you look at how the different tribes came about, the Bantu, the Nilotics, you'll find that the people in East Africa, quite a number of big population of people in East Africa moved from South Africa, moving upwards in that migration. So we are one people, we are one blood, and we're all Africans. So we should stop looking at each other as competitors, but we should look at each other as an opportunity to learn from one another. Because if we try to separate ourselves, to try to look at the differences, they'll tear us apart. But the only thing that we can do is look at how we can learn, look at how best we can be able to grow. And besides that, it's not in our principles to be that ruthless to fellow people, even if it was someone from any other continent. I think we should really take an approach of unity. If we have issues, we should look at them and find ways of resolving them in a better way than having to use violence, because we've really lost lives and you can't restore a life. Once a life is lost, it's gone for good. So we should look at the things that we have to lose when we act this way, because killing a friend, killing a person from another country doesn't create a job for you. It's what you can do that can create a job for you. So we need to have the opportunities to identify opportunities and venture. I love something about Africa, that currently we have now talent is providing employment for more Africans than it did in the past 5 years. So I think we have, if employment is the challenge, we need to find a solution to unemployment, but not find a solution of killing other people to create employment, to get the employment, because most of the people that we have here are trying to survive. It's not that I've gone to South Africa or I've gone to another country to accumulate a lot of wealth. The little that the people get from those other countries, they send back to their home countries just to survive, to have something to eat over the weekend, to have maybe to pay rent or to put up a structure. So I think we should look at this with one spirit of unity, and we should always unite irrespective of what. We shouldn't have life lose its value to that extent of killing someone just for a job that won't earn you even a living. Yeah, so that's
Okay, in your own words, how do you describe the continent overall, the continent of Africa?
Africa. Well, Africa is a beauty. Africa is a beauty. I'm yet to move to so many places, but I've done quite a good reading about quite a number of countries in Africa, and I think right now Africa is one of the richest in terms of values, in terms of culture, in terms of potential. Because you see, almost all countries have a big interest in Africa. So I think it's a great opportunity now for Africans to really realize and identify the value and the beauty that we have within us. We explore the opportunities, we explore the natural climate we've been given, we explore the fertile soils that we have, the natural resources that we have, to make sure that we make this Africa, provide it with its worth, so that we represent it in a perfect way that probably God would have wanted us to represent it. Because you know that God gave us this Africa for a particular reason. Like for example, Uganda is a part of Africa. If you're Ugandan, make sure that you represent the part of Africa in your speech, in your actions, in whatever that you do. Yep.
My last question is, for anybody out there who wishes to come to Africa or come to Uganda in particular, what message do you have for those people there?
Well, Uganda is one of the most beautiful countries, and that is a part of Africa. We're just a small piece of Africa. If you've heard of Uganda, if you've heard of the beauty in Uganda, the same beauty lies in every country in Africa. So if you think you've known anything about Africa, if you think you've read anything about Africa, the best way to know Africa is to experience it yourself. I'm embarking on a journey to share the African story, the African beauty on my YouTube channel, Mr. Musinguzi. If you want to get a real picture of what it is in Africa, you need to check out my channel. But besides that, if you have time, come for holiday in Africa. It's very beautiful. You have so many things you can learn, so many new things besides the stories that you hear or you see on TV. Come experience Africa and you'll get your life changed, you'll get your story changed, and you get opportunities that you'll see that you've not seen in any other continent in the world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Musinguzi.
You're welcome.
You have a very nice day.
Oh, you too. Have a very nice day, and thank you so much for coming to Africa. Thank you so much for coming to see the beauty in Uganda. I hope you've appreciated everything you've seen. Right?
I have. Leveling yourself.
Peace, family. My name is King Overtuna, and welcome to my channel. If you like this content and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button and leave a like and a comment. Thank you.